Welcome to Bedford Radio. My name is Mohamud, but I go by the name Mo. A lot of pressure sitting next to me to my left. Depending on where you're catching this action from, you'll understand what I'm saying. Zandi said she'd be leaving, but she's going to spend a couple more minutes with us. So Z, I just wanted to share something with you that I discovered the other day. There's a fraternity that I started, or an organization. It's called Anonymous Football Fans and Analysts Association. So it's the FFFAA.
Anonymous Football Association.
Anonymous Football Fans and Analysts Association. Ooh. So that's where we anonymously go and critique our favorite teams, critique our favorite football results and all those things. So today on Bedford Radio, my plan is to share some of that, not wisdom, but misguided opinions about football.
Okay. I'm just excited.
You're just excited?
Yeah.
So the game we're going to be looking at today, obviously, is the game that's taking place tomorrow, and that's Real Madrid versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, if you're not savvy to how both these teams got here, these two teams played in the UEFA Champions League and the UEFA Europa League, respectively, and then they both won those competitions. Now, there's this competition called the Uefa Super Cup that takes place every start of the season. It's almost like the Community Shield, but for European competition, right? So tomorrow, obviously, most of us in store will be making our best slips and getting ready to bet on this match. But let's get you some background on this game. So, Zandi, you've been watching a lot of football lately. How do you go about making your predictions for a football match?
I know I used to just tell you guys that I always just go with the winning team. But however, now I do look at the history, obviously, of the team and see how good the team has been going and what are the potentials of the team doing well. So I think that narrative of just choosing a team that's winning has completely shifted. So I literally just go for the team maybe that has good standings and yeah.
Well, when you look at the most assists in the Champions League last year with the Real Madrid side, Vinicius Jr. got 6 assists while Luka Modric got 4. And if you're looking at goals in terms of this team, you're looking at Karim Benzema with a whole 15 goals. If you look at the scale, Karim Benzema scored 15 goals and the next best goal scorer was Rodrigo with 5 and Vinicius Jr. with 4. That's in the last season's Champions League. It tells you already that these guys are quite deadly in front of goal. But what's very interesting, if you look at goal contributions overall, in the Champions League last season, Karim Benzema had 17 goal contributions, meaning that he was literally fueling them up front. He was the man getting them the results up front. And what do you know Karim Benzema? Oh, you know Ronaldo, eh? You know the guy who's shitless.
Yeah.
The one who does this.
Yeah, I do know Ronaldo. But Karim, shout out to him though.
Yeah, he did well. He did well last season in the Champions League. And when you look at the opponent Frankfurt, I just want to see how they did in their Champions League run to the stage. So let's see top players. Let's say UEFA Europa League. Let's see. In terms of the big assist player, his name was Filip Kostic. He had 4 assists, and Djibril Sow had just 2 assists. When you look at the goal scorers on the other side, we can see that Daichi Kamada scored 5 goals for them last season, with Rafael Santos scoring just 4 goals. So in terms of overall contribution, in terms of goals and assists, Filip Kostic will be a very important player for this side. So that takes me back to the possible lineups for tomorrow's Champions League, UEFA Super Cup match. So looking at those ones, we're going to look for Kostic. We see there's Rafael Santos, had a great run last season. Daichi Kamada as well. But the new signing, Mario Gomez, Mario Götze. For those of you who don't know, Mario Götze he's the player who scored the goal in the final of the Champions League all the way back in 2014 when Germany won it. That was the same season when Brazil got embarrassed on their own turf by a whole Germany side that went crazy. So it's back to being German versus Spanish. It's a German versus Spanish clash. And it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just last season we were looking at English, we were looking at Spanish. Now the German sides have come back into the fold.
Which is good. I feel like everyone deserves a taste of the Espanol.
Yes, they need to taste each other. Because it's like food. You need to test the football the spice of the Spanish, the spice of the German.
Yep. So the UEFA originates from Europe, right?
So UEFA is in Europe, and that stands as the UEFA European Federation for Football. So it's basically like AFFAA, but for football in Europe.
Oh, I see what you did.
You see what I did there? It's what I stick, man. Anonymous Football Fans and Analysts Association. You see what I'm saying? Anonymous Football Fans and Analysts Association. You see what I'm saying? I'm putting you in right now. You're part of those people that will be part of this organization in the long run. But let me talk you through the possible lineups for the two sides going into tomorrow's UEFA Super Cup. We have Thibaut Courtois between the sticks. That man single-handedly took this trophy away from Liverpool. When Liverpool got into the final, for the first time in a while, Liverpool were the favourites to win the Champions League final. I thought they were going to win the Champions League final. I actually thought they'd go on and win the quadruple, but that's a story for another day. But going into this final, I didn't think Thibaut Courtois would be that good in that final. And then between the two full-backs, we have David Alaba and Eder Militao, a great combination. That's Casemiro. Very controversial player because people always feel like he's injuring players and he's causing so much damage. And then up front, obviously, Vinicius Jr. and Karim Benzema will always be a fixture with Toni Kroos, Luka Modric in that midfield. So that's the possible lineup for Real Madrid. So I just want to take people through a little bit of some history before we get into your prediction for this match. And I'll also give the people at home my prediction for this match. Starting off first and foremost with Real Madrid. So now, if you're going to be making a best slip, which if you're watching this video right now or listening to this audio right now, I assume that you're trying to. It says that Real Madrid has less than 2.5 goals in 5 out of their last 6 matches, meaning that there's been less than 2 goals or less than 3 goals in 5 out of their last 6 matches. They've had less than 5 cards, meaning reds and yellows, in the last 4 out of 5 fixtures. And then for Frankfurt, we have more than 2.5 goals out of 4 out of 5 games they've played in the past. With the yellow cards, the same for Eintracht Frankfurt. They've seen less than 5 yellow cards in a match in the last 9 out of 9 fixtures. And then it talks about corners right there. But what I found very interesting about this match when I looked it up was that looking at these two sides, there's not much data when it comes to the head-to-head, right? And you know, when I say that, people are like, but what do you mean there's not much data? I'm saying there's not much history between these two sides. It's not like a Real Madrid Juventus or Real Madrid versus Barcelona or Real Madrid versus Liverpool, where they've met 3 or 4 times in the past 5 seasons. This one is going to be one for the history books. And Zandi, you have to leave?
No, I just want to make a call.
Oh, I just want to make a call. Sweet.
I'm still here.
All right, so let me continue with this conversation while I help the people in stores and the people watching to make their minds up about what you're going to do with your bet slip. So here you go. It says here, in terms of the head-to-head, we've already spoken about the lineups. Let's look at the match itself. I'm going to go to details. There's a poll that they've been running about people voting for who's going to win the Super Cup. And at this moment in time, it looks like Real Madrid are the favorites. 51,000 people voted for Real Madrid to win, while 7,000 said that Frankfurt would win this match. And then the draw only has 6,000 votes to it. So let me give you how in the bigger scheme of things, how many people actually voted for Real Madrid to win this match. 79.56% of the people out there voting for Real Madrid to win this match. So tomorrow is the UEFA Super Cup final, and I'm going to be watching it with you, and you could be watching it at home as well. But all I can say is that I, for one, am very excited to be watching this match because it shows a new leaf of life to the world of the Champions League. If you think about the Champions League over the past few seasons, it's always been the same kind of atmosphere in terms of who makes it into the finals, who ends up going to win the tournament altogether. And it's been English sides. And before that, if you think about the early 2010s, it was always Spanish sides. So there's something about the Champions League that this result makes me happy. So think about it this way. Let me give you some results from the past few seasons. Real Madrid winning it now in 21-22. And then in 2021, Chelsea winning it with the silver medalist being Manchester City. The season before that, Bayern Munich won it when PSG met them in the final. Liverpool then won it when Tottenham met them in the final, which was an all-English final. So for the past 5 seasons, for the past 4 seasons, since Real Madrid won it on 3 times on the trot, we had English team in the final alongside a Spanish team. There was Real Madrid versus Liverpool. We had an English team versus an English team with Chelsea and Man City. We had an English team and an English team with Bayern and PSG. And then we went for Liverpool and Tottenham, which was an all-English final. So twice in the last 4 years, we saw an all-English final until just 2 seasons ago where we saw PSG taking on Bayern Munich. So to see a Spanish winner, it's the first time since Real Madrid won the Champions League. 3 times in a trot, the last time they beat Liverpool. So it tells you a lot. And if you're a Liverpool fan, this comes as great news to you because you've been a Champions League finalist 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 out of the last 5 seasons. So the 2 times when Chelsea and Bayern Munich won it, Liverpool was not in the final, but Liverpool had been in the final for the other 3. So I'm sharing this with you because it's showing a shift in the world of football where we used to just see Spanish and English teams dominating. Now we're starting to see the other teams in the world of in the world of football, especially European football coming into the fold, and also putting their names in the hat to say, listen, we are back at the top of the game. So last season, Frankfurt won it against Rangers in the Europa League, and then Villarreal beat Manchester United, and then Sevilla beat Inter Milan. Right, people forget about that final because it feels like Sevilla is a default. They just have to win it all the time. And funny enough, I just thought I'd draw a parallel between the Champions League and the Europa League here for you for a second. Looking at what's going on over here, Sevilla in 15-16 won the Champions League for a third time in a row. Do you want to know who their opponent was for that third win in a row? It was actually Liverpool. So Liverpool, there's something about Liverpool and ending a 3 Champions League or 3 continental wins in a row. There just has to be that team. So in 15-16, Liverpool were in the final against Sevilla. Sevilla was there for the third time in a row, and Sevilla beat Liverpool in that final. Then it went on the next season, the very next season, in the Europa League. Manchester United were the team that won it, which is an English side. In the Champions League, after Real Madrid won it 3 times and Liverpool came and met them on the 3rd occasion, the next season, an English team won it. It was Liverpool. Just drawing these parallels for you in case maybe you're thinking to yourself, I just want to see how I can predict the future for football. They say history repeats itself, and sometimes, just sometimes, it does genuinely happen. But here's an interesting fact. Do you believe me when I said Fulham was in the final of the Champions League in 2009-2010 when they went on to face Atletico Madrid and lose it in that final? But yes, the next season after Sevilla won it 3 times on the trot, the next winner was an English team, followed by a Spanish team, followed by an English team, followed by a Spanish team again, and now for the first time in a while, a German team breaking that deadlock. You know, there's a deadlock if you think about it, because in the Europa League, Spanish and English teams have been dominated. It's been the trophy you get when you can't get into the Champions League. I mean, look at the teams that have won it from England. It's Chelsea, it's Manchester United. If you look at the teams from Spain, it's Atletico Madrid, who at times have been billed as the 3rd best in Spain, or the team to look to if Real Madrid and Barcelona are not going to be outright favorites to win the Champions League. So how does this affect you in terms of predicting football? How does this affect you in terms of your knowledge of football and where you're going to take your next step about going to your friends, sitting there and telling them, listen, I know who's going to win the Champions League this season, or I know who's going to win the Super Cup tomorrow. It just basically tells you that the winds are shifting as much as English and Spanish football are dominating, right? English and Spanish football are dominating in Europe, but we might just see, for the first time in a while, German football coming to the rise. And I say this because we also lost out. I mean, in the 2000s, Italian football was playing a big part in the Champions League with that Carlo Ancelotti, AC Milan. And now in the modern day, we're seeing a lot of the Spanish sides doing the same thing, and the English sides with your Manchester City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Manchester United, just to name a few. Tottenham Hotspurs also throwing their name in the hat for being in the Champions League final against Liverpool. So, yep, that's how those 2 teams have fared in the tournaments in the past. But coming into this final, it's just 2 names in it. It's Real Madrid and Eintracht Frankfurt. And for me, I'm going to wrap up my thoughts by saying the following. It looks to me that a lot of us are thinking that Real Madrid are the favorites to win it, which, just to be fair, we have no other reason not to believe that they will go on and win this match. When it comes to how they've been doing in their recent form, well, for me, Eintracht Frankfurt have a very tough start to the season. Right after their preseason, they start the season off with a Bundesliga clash. Don't forget that Bayern Munich met Leipzig in the Super Cup. And then the first match of the season for Bayern Munich was Eintracht Frankfurt. They beat them 6-1. So Bayern Munich came in, started the season with a 6-1 demolishing of Eintracht Frankfurt. After getting those scars, Eintracht Frankfurt is going to face Real Madrid. And this is happening tomorrow on the 10th of August. The thrashing came on the 5th of August. It's only been 5 days. So we've got to feel for Eintracht Frankfurt at this point. And the thing is, do they go into the Real Madrid game and say, listen, let's rather not get thrashed again? Or do they throw it all on the line and say, you know what, whatever happens, happens? It's totally one of those questions where you got to ask yourself as a football manager and as a football fan or analyst. I assume that you thinking to yourself, what a bad way to start the season. But it is what it is. And for me, I honestly think, looking at how Frankfurt's fixtures have looked over these five days, I worry for them against Real Madrid. I won't say that it'll be a big goal-scoring game, but I just feel that Real Madrid have it easy in terms of we all think they're going to have to win it. And if there's an upset, well, this is football. It's not played on paper. It's not played on analysis. It's played on what happens on the day. But listen to this Real Madrid side that went on to go into the Champions League final and win it after having what I think is one of the toughest runs to the final that any big team has experienced. When you talk about Real Madrid, quickly about their past fixtures, they come clean out of preseason. They played Juventus, Club America, and Barcelona. And they won one, drew one, and lost one. They lost to Barcelona 1-0, and they beat Juventus 2-0. And talking about the UEFA Champions League, I just want to talk about how Real Madrid got themselves into the final. It was not the easiest of journeys, if you ask me. Real Madrid basically, to make it into this final, had to face the following teams. They had to face PSG, pull off a comeback. They had to face Chelsea and win that one 5-4. They had to face, I mean, if you listen to the scores of how they made it to the final, it tells you the mentality of these guys. These are, I know people always talk about Liverpool as mental giants and all that, but these guys beat PSG 3-2. They beat Chelsea 5-4. They beat Man City 6-5. And they went on to the final to beat Liverpool 1-0 from a stellar performance from Thibaut Courtois. No one can argue that Liverpool was not the better side on the day. But looking at how these guys made it to the final, a lot of people say that when you're coaching a football side, you want to win like with beautiful football. And Jurgen Klopp was accused of that back in when he was starting off with Liverpool. With this Real Madrid side, Carlo Ancelotti threw the book out of the window and said to them, listen, do you want to win or not? It doesn't always need to be beautiful. We just need to get the win. And that's exactly what this Real Madrid side was able to pull off. So I think if you're a Real Madrid fan today, looking at the light for tomorrow's match, you just have to say one thing and one thing only. I genuinely think that Real Madrid is going to win this game. Will it be easy? I'm not sure. Will it be a clean sheet? I am not sure. But one thing I can guarantee you, whether it's over 90 minutes or over extra time, injury time, I think that Real Madrid have this one in the bag. Well, that's all I have to say about that one. That's me building up to the Real Madrid versus Eintracht Frankfurt match. So if you're a fan of the game like I am, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next time.